Hi, and welcome to Sprout Chat, our monthly conversation with marketing professionals designed to share insights with our community. You're here with your hosts. I'm Joe Huber, the customer community strategist here at Sprout Social.
I'm Olivia, our social media specialist at Sprout.
And we're doing so much for agencies this month that I've dubbed October Unofficial Agency Month at Sprout. So today, we're learning some secrets from agencies around how they do social. Our guest is one of our agency partners, Steve Ryan. Steve is the founder and CEO of RyTech, LLC. RyTech is a full-service digital marketing agency that helps customers with search, social, and design. Hey, Steve.
Good morning. How are you?
We're doing great over here.
So, Steve, we always like to start with an icebreaker, and since tomorrow is Halloween and we're in the spooky spirit, what was your favorite Halloween costume?
So I have to say that I was never really a big fan of Halloween, but I was always dressing up as a doctor because I thought that's what I was going to be when I grew up, and sure enough, I didn't figure that one out, and here I am running a digital marketing agency.
I mean, digital marketing agency, doctor, like they're right there. You're helping people.
Minus the math and science, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
When we were talking about this, I couldn't decide between Donatello or the Red Ranger, and I went with Donatello from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles because I think I was Donatello for like 5 years in a row.
I first of all love Halloween. It's my favorite holiday. But I also had the same costume a bunch as a kid. I think I was a witch at least 5 or 6 times.
Yeah.
And that was always just my favorite costume.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean,
Go for the easy route.
Yeah.
If you know it, right?
Exactly.
So that's kind of one of the themes, though, is like doing something over and over again, especially as kids. But as adults, we do the same thing. And if you know something, you do it over and over. And that's what agencies do every single day. They know social, so they do it over and over for their customers. We're going to talk to Steve about how agencies use social media. You ready, Steve, to jump into this week's Sprout Chat? Let's do it. All right. This first question is, how do you determine your clients' goals and objectives?
So I think you always have to start taking a step back and asking questions, because I think we've seen with some of the clients that we work with, they come in thinking they want one thing, and they don't really know what they want. They might say they want us to manage Twitter, but what's really the end goal? How are we trying to get there? Because they might be lost as part of what they're trying to achieve. They might know what they want to achieve, but they don't know how to get there. And that's where, as agencies, you can come in and really educate them on their options. Talk through with them on, if your goal is brand awareness, you should think about X. If your goal is conversions, think about something a little bit different. And really take a step back and look at what they've done in the past and kind of evaluate some of their ROI.
Your clients really look at you to be the expert, but they also want to feel heard and understood. And so asking a lot of questions really opens the door for true partnership.
Absolutely. And I think, seek to understand, right? So we come in, we can't go in saying we know exactly what you're going to achieve, but hopefully through the question process, everybody's on the same page at the end of the conversation.
Yeah, definitely. So moving on to Q2, how can agencies influence customer experiences for their clients?
So we always recommend taking a look at a strategy, right? So starting with a strategy and then looking at the customer journey, because if you don't look at the full customer journey, you really can't influence the entire customer experience. So by taking a look at that, really looking at clear and consistent calls to action, what they look like, how you can eliminate friction. The end goal is really a conversion, right? If we're getting somebody to a specific customer experience, what do we want them to do? How do we get them to convert? And how can we eliminate any of that friction or anything that comes up that might get in the way?
So there's something that you said, the specific word is understanding. And you said understanding your customer journey. And it's, to me, that's the most important thing, is we can never help our customers until we fully understand where they go from point A to complete. What does success look like to you at every step of the way? And until we understand that, we can't make a determination on how we're successful as an agency or as your company, as anything. And working in software, obviously, we look at our customers, and every single customer is different. And success looks so different to every single one of you who are working in social media, and we want to help you get there. And so we need to understand, what does that look like at every step of the way? And so it's understanding that word, just super powerful. All right, let's run into question number 3. How do you help clients create content for their entire customer lifecycle?
So as we really look at that, you've really got to think about a multi-channel approach. You can't silo yourself just in a specific type of content or a specific part of the customer life cycle. As we look at the multi-channel approach, we really want to look at what type of content can be involved. Is it video? Is it content in the written form, blog post, thought leadership, case study? Is it a testimonial? Where is it that at what part of the funnel, what part of the life cycle are these customers, and how do you create this full cycle? And so we've kind of transitioned the thought of the life cycle from a funnel standpoint into a more circular model so that you keep them coming back for more. So it might include a drip campaign, it might include some email newsletters and some follow-up to really kind of build out some of these campaigns to make that customer life cycle a continuous flow and not just we got them, we've converted, and now it's over. How do we keep them coming back for more?
Yeah, I really like what you said about like having a multi-channel approach, and I think that especially applies to social because you have to really think about who you're catering to on different networks. So your Facebook audience could be very different from your Twitter audience or your LinkedIn audience. So really thinking about how you can, one, repurpose content for those different audiences, and two, how can you create unique content for each network?
And that's really, I would say that's really important because your goals for your different networks might be different as well. So your Facebook audience might be different, but their goal might be different as well.
Definitely, yeah. So moving on to Q4, and building off of that, where do digital and social marketing intersect?
I would say everywhere. We see a lot of that, right? Because social is everywhere, digital and strategy and all of that is everywhere. But I would say the sweet spot is really in that consideration phase of the customer journey or the customer life cycle. We're looking at social on a daily basis for clients to really look at humanization of their company, their brand, their story, how we can use some targeted ads and some paid social to build some awareness. And then what can we use organic social for from a thought leadership standpoint, getting company leadership to humanize themselves a little bit more on social. And then, I would say a culmination of that is really kind of some retargeting ads and some remarketing ads that can move someone from consideration phase into a conversion standpoint.
Yeah, everything you said right there, but the key point for me is, and I think this is something agencies do a really good job of, is helping customers remember that the other person on the other end is a human as well. And it's this human interaction, and it's something we've really moved towards. Is digital happens online, and it's very easy to forget that there's a human being on the other end of that connection. And so even if it occurs online and it's digital, it's still a human. And it's the same thing for social. People are running those accounts, and so when you're targeting somebody, like, they're not just a part of a target set. That's a human being that you're trying to reach. And it's that idea too of when they intersect is because of the humanity. That's why they intersect all over, is because it's humans everywhere.
And the B2B marketing is really still B2C marketing because you're still going to that consumer, you're still going to that person. So
absolutely.
Yeah.
I could not agree more, because that's something that B2B people, I think, tend to forget sometimes, is that, like, even if it's a business, you're talking to a person.
Right.
Yeah. Awesome. Let's jump into question 5. What data should you look at to measure your client's customer experience efforts?
So I think it really starts with going back to what goals you set at the beginning, because if you are looking at the goals, you can measure success based off of the goals that you set out. So really taking a look at that, and that's where I would start as we're looking at what data points we're trying to measure. Secondly, I would look at where in the funnel or the cycle are they, and is there something that's stopping them from getting through? What is that friction that we can really identify as something that maybe needs to be A/B tested further, that needs to be redefined or reworked altogether? And then, kind of finally really looking at that long-term client value. What's that lifetime value of a client, and is the approach retaining? Is it converting? How are we really kind of measuring that as a goal, and not looking at an endpoint, right? Just because, similar to what we said earlier of, just because they've converted doesn't mean that's end. We want that repeat business, repeat purchases, if it's a product, and really kind of working with the clients to understand that.
Yeah. And I think too, like another point to pull out of this is I think a lot of people kind of create formulas for what metrics they're measuring, but what you said, like it goes back to your client specific goals and then optimizing from there based on what maybe their next goal might be. And so our final question for the day is, how can you educate clients on the value of full funnel marketing?
So I don't want to sound like a broken record here, but I think it's really important to drive home that continuous flow, and that it doesn't stop at conversion. So what is the value, and how can we share and define the value of a multi-channel approach, to really think about the impact that a social strategy, organic or paid, really benefits with a search strategy, or really benefits with content, and how we can really engage their customers or customers at various stages of their journey, and their customer journey, and really focus on what the options are. We think clients come to us knowing exactly what they want, and they don't know the range of options and the breadth of options that are available to them. Sometimes overwhelming, and so that's where you have to be the expert and be the educator and be that trusted advisor and that business partner. But I think as you can explore some of the data points, some of the impacts, some of the impressions that you might be able to garner from different approaches, you can really prove your return on investment pretty easily.
So I think one of the things you hit on there is in education, it's customers today are more educated than ever. They know about the different competitors. They know about what's available. But to your point as well, especially as an agency, and they might not know everything that's available. And even if they're more educated, they might not know 100% of what's available. And that's part of your job, is to help them kind of get there from understanding to not, or from not understanding to understanding. And so I love that you talked about that, like where your education's never done, and that's true. It's true for everybody anyways, but especially in the buying process. One real quick thing is, I know most people out there know what full funnel marketing is. Do you mind defining full funnel marketing for us, just like a quick Cliff Notes version of your definition?
So full funnel marketing, kind of in my opinion, as we look at it, is how you are marketing to your customers at all the different segments and the different stages of their journey. And so you might have a different approach if your goal is consideration versus conversion, versus increasing lifetime value. And so how do you kind of bring that around and make it the true cycle and hitting people wherever they are?
Yes, I absolutely agree. I just wanted to say we've had a skeleton of fun on this Sprout Chat. So thank you so much, Steve. Thanks again for coming on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, it's been great. Awesome.
So we'll be back next month for our final Sprout Chat of the year. And if you want to learn more about the Twitter chat, you can find us at Sprout Chat or tweet us using the hashtag.
Yeah. I wanted to say thank you again to all of you watching. Thanks again to Steve. You can also join the conversation on Facebook in our group titled #SproutChat. We'll see y'all soon.